Hey everybody, just wanted to jump on here really quick. First of all, I had an issue the other night when I did one of my Mosaic basketball breaks. I tried to get really fancy on the technical side. Um, I was messing around with an encoder to try to get really crisp video quality through YouTube streaming, and it kind of messed up, I think, the experience for everybody. So I'm trying to just see how it works through Chrome. The way to fix that, you can actually stream through Chrome without having to download the encoding software through your webcam if you're using Chrome and YouTube live streaming. But that's not the main thing I was going to talk about. I wanted to set up a quick little video. When I had my eBay auctions out there for the Mosaic break that I did the other night, I got a lot of questions from people who were saying they were just new to breaks and didn't know how it worked. So I figured I'd spend a little bit of time talking about what a card break is. I certainly can't go into all the detail. There's a ton of different ways people break cards, a ton of different boxes, a ton of different types of cards. But I actually stumbled into, I guess, the new industry. I'll talk a little bit about, some of the stuff I've got up here. I'm 43 now. I started collecting cards when I was probably, I don't know, call it 9 or 10 is when I got into it. 86, 87 was the first year I remember starting getting cards. The Topps wood grain McGuire was the card to get, the Barry Bonds, things like that. My parents would go to garage sales. They actually found this Mickey Mantle card at a garage sale that unfortunately was stacked up with a bunch of other cards with a rubber band around it. But anyway, this is a 67. It's got some chewing up on the side. You can see I've got it in one of the old school screw down cases. So my point is that the hobby has changed a ton since I was a kid. That's nothing new. You'll hear that from a lot of people. But I just wanted, if you're getting into the hobby as it is today in 2020, it's a lot different than it was before. I used to be able to buy packs of cards for 50 cents. I'd sell them back to dealers and then just keep trading. And then that was how I experienced as a kid. I remember my first bad experience. It wasn't a bad experience, but it's kind of what turned me away from the hobby. Is I remember getting a Frank Thomas Leaf rookie card. I think it was 90, was his 90 or 91. I can't remember, but went to a card show. I was thrilled. It was like the best card in my collection as a kid. And I walked up to this dealer and I wanted to sell it to him. And his comment was, well, I'm not going to buy something like that unless it's PSA graded. And that was the first time as a kid I'd ever heard that. And I was like, what? What's PSA grading? I didn't, as a kid, I didn't know how to do that. I didn't want to go through that. So that's kind of when I got out of the hobby. And I recently just got back into it when a couple of my friends of mine on Facebook were, posting that they were in breaks, and I had no idea what was going on a couple years ago, and just started getting involved. And thankfully for me, through knowing those guys, I got into some really good break rooms and learned a lot about the hobby. But let's get on topic here. First of all, my advice is someone I'm still a collector. I got into a Bowman 2020 break, blaster break, and some Fat Pack and solo breaks the other night. And what it was in this particular break room was there were 10 spots. You pick a team that you want right off the bat, except for a few teams like New York and Oakland and what was the other one? KC. And pick a team that you want, and then they'll random you a couple of other teams, including the ones that were locked. So nobody could pick those three off the top. But I picked, I think I took Tampa Bay. I got random the Yankees, and this is a Dominguez that I hit, Chrome Dominguez. I also hit another Chrome like this, and I hit a Dominguez paper. But there's a lot of different ways to run a break. You'll see a lot of different rooms do it a lot of different ways, but the basics are just the high-level tips. First of all, know what you're buying. If you don't know what's in this Bowman product, or you don't know what's in Mosaic, or you collect a certain player, or you collect a certain team, know what's in the product. I've made the mistake before of going in on a product, and I collect the Braves personally. I'm here in Atlanta, and I you know, I went in thinking, oh, I'll just grab Braves real quick. They're super cheap in this break. Well, the reason they were super cheap in that break is because there wasn't a lot of product for the Braves in that break. There wasn't a lot of players included. And that's my mistake. I didn't know. But there's several different places online that you can go and find checklists. And the checklist will tell you, what are all the base cards? What are all the insert cards? What are the opportunities for, there's kind of cheat sheets. What are the opportunities for autographs in that particular product for all the different teams and all the different players? So that's tip number one. The second tip is, like, how does the break actually work? I mean, some people just didn't know. So the way that I do my eBay auctions, so my eBay username is cobwebs.com. That's COBBWEBZ as in zebra.com. Right now, I just put another Mosaic break. We'll be breaking 9 boxes tomorrow. You're bidding on the team that's in the auction listing. So if you win the Hawks, for example, what that person is going to do is they're going to open the product. You're going to get the Hawks. But read those descriptions very carefully. Sometimes the breaker will send all the cards. Sometimes the breaker won't send the base cards or what they call the paper. In most cases, for the Mosaic stuff, it all ships because they're all nice cards. But a lot of times, like in this Bowman baseball, if that's something you're going into, which is really hot right now, a lot of the breakers won't send you the paper because unless it's some of the higher end, more in demand players. But typically, what the breaker will do then is they'll so in this particular break, I think I got all the Braves. This was Bowman Chrome, and hey, I want all the Braves, so great for me. Look at all these Braves I got. Sometimes I'll put them in like a team bag like this. Other times they'll put a lot of the other hits in a top loader and a sleeve. They'll sleeve them up and put them in here. So I won this Cracked Dice Rays Top 100 McClanahan the other night. Put it in there. They'll pretty much stack it all on top. They'll put something in the envelope to keep it pretty rigid, and I mean they literally send you your stuff. It's that simple, right? They stick all your stuff in the envelope, print you out a label, and you're good to go. I mean, that's how the break works. Just understand what the break is, understand the format, understand what you're getting. That's the key thing. The shipping, if you see high shipping, don't get mad. Typically what people do is they wrap in all their supplies. The envelopes should be included in the break, the sleeves, the top loaders, all the effort. I mean, to get to the post office, it is work on the breaker side to get all that stuff packaged up. But that is a card break. Like I said, I could be on here for an hour talking about all the different types. That's really just the tip of the iceberg, so to speak. A lot of times, sometimes some card rooms will just go live just like this and sit back and say, hey, I've got this for X per box, and let's break it open right now, and do you want any more? And it's kind of like a live card shop, which is pretty cool. Trying to think of what else to cover from a high level break perspective. I guess the other thing to be just conscious of is typically, most of the breaks that or at least I'll say how I do it, but most people include like first class shipping or either priority shipping. It gives you some insurance on your cards in case you hit a high value card. First class mail, I think, protects up to $5,000. And you get tracking on it, so when your cards are coming. That's really it. Thanks for listening in. Excuse me. Thanks for listening in. I'd love to get some comments, some thoughts. It looks like this is a fairly clear stream if I was to do a break right now, make sure we can zoom in on that number. Some cards are numbered. Again, that goes back to knowing what your product is. I guess the other tip is find a breaker that you like. Every breaker's different. Every room is different. Some people, everybody likes something different. Some people think, I may break too slow. Some people think other people break too fast. Especially during these times, for me, it's like I still collect cards. I still get involved in breaks because it's something that I like to do that kind of gets me away from everything else that's going on. But anyway, try a bunch of different breakers. Try to go win a bunch of different auctions. Try to join and get invited to a bunch of good, reputable break rooms. Unfortunately, there are people out there that are trying to take advantage. They're all about the money. I will say, as a collector and someone who's trying to get started in breaking, I do it for fun. The minute it doesn't become fun is the minute that I'm, not going to do it anymore. It is a lot of work, but like I said, just as interesting for me to see other people hit cards as it is for myself to get mine, because I collect Falcons and Braves and Hawks and all that kind of stuff. But it's also fun. I went by Walmart the other day, picked up, this little blaster of contenders and pulled this Elijah Holyfield out of it. It's an auto. It's not crazy valuable card at the moment, but it's kind of cool for me because I got the opportunity to meet Evander, and this is his son. He went to UGA, so pretty cool. Anyway, I do have a Facebook group set up. It's CBC Sports Cards, so check me out on Facebook and jump in on one of my auctions. Let's pull some fire. All right, see ya.